Oh, we're here! Ha ha! Hey, I'm Zach Hoffman, the voice of Zartan. Welcome to the Super Awesome Geek Show. Woohoo!
Hey guys, John here, and welcome back to the Super Awesome Geek Show. We had a blast. You guys want to see me wear this Dukes of Hazzard onesie? We had a blast while we were walking around the show floor at JoeFest. And what I did this time is I went around and I basically did some highlights from the show. So what I'm going to show you here in this video are some of the booths that interest me and some of the items that interest me. And hopefully they interest you as well. It's just going to be kind of random here, so I'll chat along as we go through it. Here we have some Buck Rogers starships, and I really want one of these ships, so I was looking through this bin to see if there was any way I could get one, but they were all pretty beat up, and landing gears broken, things like that, so I didn't end up pulling the trigger on any of those. We've got some Transformers here, all kinds of bagged up goodies. Millennium Falcon, Slave One, Snow Speeders, Talon Fighter, Star Wars Transformers, MOTU, all kinds of good stuff at this booth. There's a Trypticon. Later on, Rob bought his son Bryce that Trypticon. It's pretty cool. Kid was so excited. G.I. Joe vehicles. I really want one of these mobile battle platforms. The mobile G.I. Joe base. They were around $200 here at the show, which I don't think is all that bad of a price. Lots of really cool G.I. Joe stuff. Look at all this. It's just everywhere. Just everywhere. Star Wars. More G.I. Joe vehicles backed up. Yeah, really cool. Every which way you looked, there were G.I. Joe and all these vintage things. Bridge layers galore, asps, polar battle bears, sky strikers, night ravens. Look at this boxed Rancor, cool. This guy's awesome. Calibac's bomber. Hall of Justice in a box. These Superman and stuff is pretty cool. Yeah, really good stuff. Here's a Buck Rogers Starfighter in the box. Star Wars, Hornetroid, Micronauts, pretty cool. Buck Rogers Draconian Marauder in the box. I really considered that Marauder as well. That was something I was really looking at. Maybe that'll be a future line to start collecting, because I really only have a couple figures and I really want those ships. I didn't pull the trigger on this particular event though, but it's in mind for a future collection here. Really cool boxed G.I. Joe stuff in this guy's booth. Amazing stuff here. I wouldn't mind having a Night Raven box. Really cool. Ballistic missile? Who knew? You don't have to go through all that research. Just buy one at JoeFest. Oh boy. Should I even be making those jokes at this time? Dinky! Look at that. Wall of G.I. Joe figures. G.I. Joe parts in bins. Shells and whatnot. More figures in the cases. Some of the more expensive ones. Locked away in your prying hands. Pretty cool. For G.I. Joe figures this year, I dug through some $1 and $5 bins. I brought a bunch of Adventure People, and I traded Adventure People for G.I. Joe figures. Sometimes it was like 2 G.I. Joe figures for 3 Adventure People, or 4 or 5 G.I. Joe figures for 6 Adventure People, stuff like that, you know. These are some prototypes and first test shots, foreign cards. I guess I shouldn't say foreign cards. I mean card backs that are not of the United States. So they are of other countries besides the U.S. Street Fighter card backs. Pretty cool stuff here. This is Plastic Universe. They're actually down here in Florida, and we're gonna try and do a collab at some time. I think that'll be really fun and really cool. The guys at Plastic Universe have always been really cool to me. They do a lot of awesome stuff. Check out all these custom Cobra. They basically made a flag into a Cobra vehicle and put various Cobra colors on other things. This guy next to him had a booth here with some other G.I. Joe things in it. Pretty cool. Of course, you're going to see a lot of Joe stuff because this is JoeFest, but there's also a lot of other things to be seen. Little parts, figures, glass cases full of stuff, bins full of stuff, file cards galore. Yeah, just crazy amounts of stuff. I did buy a couple file cards. I got a full card back from Leatherneck so I could have Ron Rudette sign it. And then we did a Larry Hama file card, which Larry ended up signing in remembrance of my brother Mark, so that's pretty cool. And then I got Wild Bill because Wild Bill was one of my favorite characters. So I did a file card for Wild Bill signed by Larry Hama. Cobra's got the world in his hands, Cobra Commander. There's a bat blowing bubbles. That never happened in the cartoon. I don't think a bat blew bubbles. Fire came out of that, not bubbles. Yeah, really cool. The show floor is huge. I do have an aerial shot of the show floor somewhere in here. Maybe we'll do it at the end. I don't know. Thing is, I threw all these clips in here randomly, so. Lots of collector glasses, Smurfs and everybody. Godzilla, Lady Gaga, Godzilla stuff. Dinosaurs, Garfield. Just, if you can think of it, there's probably a booth that has it here. It was kind of crazy. But that's the fun of JoeFest. You never know what you're going to find. Yeah, pretty cool. I think these are some of the ones that came with the Sky Striker. HasLab. 25th anniversary figures hanging up here. The 25th anniversary figures didn't gain as much of a popularity as you'd think they would have. Valor vs. Venom, Hiss, and trailer. A camouflage G.I. Joe hydrofoil thing. That's pretty cool. At first I thought that $25 tag was on the boat, but then I realized it was on the bag, because if that boat was just $25 I would have grabbed it. But no, it was a couple hundred. Wrestling figures on card. We have a giant Supernaturals vehicle. Equalizer, Turtles vehicles, A-Team jet in the box. We've got a Hulk figure in a barrel. More wrestling stuff. Super Friends record player, I think they said it was. Got some 12-inch figures here. A Voltron thing. Michael Jackson. Silverhawks. Godzilla. Voltron. Sea Wolf from G.I. Joe. A boxed USS Flag. There were a lot of USS Flags at this show, and I thought that was very interesting. For something that's so expensive, to see it like, I mean, there must have been 10 of them at this show. It was crazy. It just makes me think, like, are they overpriced? You know? Because if you've got that many of them on the market, the price needs to start coming down, in my opinion. G.I. Joe Hydrofoil, Terminator, Castle Grayskull. That Triceratops is awesome. HasLab His Tank, Princess of Power, a Dino Riders thing that I've never ever seen. I know of the Diplodocus, but not that one. 120 for this monster. That last year I picked it up for $60. Mine works. Cool. Turtle stuff. D&D monsters. Random vehicles. Yeah, pretty cool. Catwoman thing from Turtles. Lots of the ships from Star Trek. File cards, card backs, paraphernalia, Star Wars figures, comic books. These were cool, seeing the Universal Monsters, pets and animals, acrylic displays, G.I. Joe figures galore, parts bins, random stuff, all over the place. We've got some boxed vehicles back there. Really cool. Love it! More G.I. Joe boxed items. There were a few boxed G.I. Joe that I would love to have in this pile. There's carded ones. Yeah. Darth Vader here, Facehugger. Some Transformer stuff at this booth. Beast Wars. Some of this Armada and movie stuff. Trains. Buddy, what is that? Buddy. Dino Riders in the box. I think there's some Power Ranger and Transformer stuff here. Pretty cool. These train sets and play sets were awesome. Electric trucking set, it had a big placemat you put down. Shogun. Is that Raiden? Raiden? And here he is loose over there. Yeah. Smash 'em Up Derby. I think we had that as a kid. It's like you see things every once in a while that you're like, didn't we have that when we were kids? I like totally forgot about it until now that I see it. Like it seems familiar. Superjet Prairie on the wild with a gun. Yeah. Really cool stuff. She-Ra horse. I think Shabby ended up buying that She-Ra horse. Centurions. Yeah, very cool. Mego, Marvel and stuff, and Happy Days. Cavemen things. Yeah, great stuff. This stuff's really cool. Lots of cool Transformers stuff here. was thinking, seeing some of these Japanese package designs and things, that might be a thing to venture into with Transformers, is getting... I don't really have too many package designs from other countries when it comes to Transformers. I've got it for G.I. Joe, and in a couple of the mini bots I've got Italian or other countries, but not too many, you know, in the Transformer range from other countries. This cabinet was cool. Lots of good stuff in here. I like those aliens, those robots and stuff. Pegasus, pretty cool. Rolling Thunder, awesome. Really cool. Lots of Star Wars here. Weird G.I. Joe things. Battle Wagon. Another Rancor. Terror Drone. Pretty cool. Some really nice Secret Wars there. High-end Star Wars in this cabinet. The guy's got 3 blue Snaggletooth in there. A Red Bar R5. Comics and magazines, pretty cool. I did like that there were a couple of booths that were dedicated to comics and magazines. I thought that was great. Shogun Warriors here. Troubleshooter G.I. Joe. $12-inch stuff. The C-3PO case, cool. Death Star. Space. Grizzly Adams lunchbox, pretty cool. Action Force versions of a lot of the G.I. Joe stuff. Carded Action Force figures, carded Action Force vehicles, boxed things, the annuals. These guys were really cool. Had some great stuff brought over from England. Robo Skulls like crazy. Ramen Toys was here, saw Ace. Was always good talking to Ace. He's a really cool guy. Love his stuff. Yeah, some good stuff here at Ramen Toys. Some carry cases, Micronauts Battle Cruiser, Shogun Warriors in a box, Transformers. I wanted a Thundercracker. What's really cool is that by the end of the weekend, Gary Moore and Brad from Rocket City Sith ended up getting me a Thundercracker, which was so nice of them. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Gary. Glad you guys found that for me. And ended up getting it. Pretty cool. Brad, by the end of the weekend, we ended up putting together almost a full collection of Panache Place Voltron for him. We got the Voltron itself, all the figures loose, most of the figures carded. And then Gary went for Tron, so we had a lot of fun putting together a Tron set for Gary. We got 3 out of the 4 figures while at the con here. for Gary. So it was a lot of fun helping each other out in this, getting the items that everybody wanted and hunting and helping people hunt. Even completing things like for Shabby at Shabby Geek, we went and completed his Croc Master. We had to hunt down the whip, we had to hunt down the alligator, and we had to hunt down the alligator's necklace thing. The collar with handle, so that was pretty cool. Lots of Joe figures here. Mini bots for Transformers, vehicles for Transformers, random loose figures and things here. Yeah, very cool stuff. Treasures to be found at every booth if you dug. If you spent some time digging in, there's a ROM back there, a Draconian ship, a D&D thing, Knight Rider in the box, pretty cool. Some lunch pails, lunch boxes. I have that Empire Strikes Back one. Actually, it's right in front of me right now. It's on the floor here. I got stuff in it. Parts. It's holding parts. Buck Rogers, Big Jim, Star Trek, G.I. Joe, a Monster Coach. We got Hot Wheels, more G.I. Joe 12-inch, more G.I. Joe vehicles, boxed and everywhere with the boxes, I guess. Shark Surprise, Boiling Lagoon. Getting rough with Evel Knievel and Skeletor here. There was a Skeletor pillow puncher there. Return of the Jedi sleeping bag, I think that is. And here's some Transformers from Japan and other countries. These were really cool. These were some of the things that I'm talking about that I wouldn't mind getting into in the future here. There's some really cool stuff here. Both vintage and modern from Japan. Centurions, another battle cruiser. More Transformer stuff. Bagged loose figures. Loose guys in the cases here. The Nostromo. Lego stuff. Battlestar Galactica. Starcom. Star Wars vans. Here's some more carded Voltron. I think we bought those up for Brad at Rocket City Sith. These were cool. More loose figures, loose vehicles. Granomir. Wrestling. I'd love to have a Granomir. That's a cool one. Hopefully they'll bring them out in the Origins line and we'll be able to get them there. Yeah, great stuff here. Just got to a point where everywhere you looked there was something. Every booth I think had something that you could be like, wow, that's cool, you know? If you dug around hard enough and looked around hard enough, you'd find some cool stuff at just about every booth. Free range collectibles. G.I. Joe base. Lots of carded TVC Black Series. Vintage Star Trek Nego. Some guitar, a bunch of G.I. Joe stuff. The Terradrome. I actually think I only saw 2 or 3 Terradromes at the show. Whereas, like, even this guy had another flag on the table. There might have been, you know, a bunch of flags, but not as many terror drones. Godzilla, Radio Shack, My Pet Monster, Secret Wars, Nintendo, Strawberry Shortcake, all this Star Wars stuff. Very cool. Well, the robots look great. Yeah, some good stuff here. Really cool. Point Dread. ROM with the box. That's really cool. That's sought after by a lot of vintage collectors. ROM with the box. Mobile support vehicle for G.I. Joe 12-inch. Here we've got an Italian Yoda. Very cool. That Italian Yoda is like a $20,000 thing. Harbert, Leia there. These are like way up. These things are super many thousands of dollars. What's in this cabinet? Incredible finds here. This is at the Toy Federation booth, and a lot of this stuff was behind glass cases, sealed away because they're crazy expensive items. And even though some things you might say, oh, it's not the, that wasn't the normal versions. There were like error versions and all these other weird things in there. Prototypes, yeah. We got $6 Million Man stuff here. Really cool. A lot of it signed by Lee Majors. Really cool stuff. This booth pretty much specialized in $6 Million Man. This guy pretty much specialized in Star Wars. A lot of cool stuff here to see. I like seeing the record albums and the little books and paraphernalia and stuff. I thought it was great. Andy and I tried to do some wheeling and dealing here, and the guy wouldn't go for it. Because I do need the Ewok glider. Andy needed some stuff from here. We were trying to bundle things up and try to get a deal going. And it didn't work out really. But that's okay. Lots of boxed things. Having that cardboard cantina in the box would be a cool thing to have. The Sears cardboard cantina. I don't know if I would really like to have one set up because I like my plastic cantina. But having one in the box wouldn't be bad to add to the collection. I thought that the food tray was pretty cool. It's got legs under it. The Ewoks food tray that we saw a second ago. Yeah, pretty good booth here. This guy had a lot of really good Star Wars stuff. It was great to talk to him and see the stuff that he has. Shuttle with the box. Some really nice carded figures here. Yeah, interesting stuff. Pretty cool. Japanese Takara X-Wing. And some model kits. In Japan, they were modular, so you can move the wings and things around. Brown Snake Yoda. We've got Rainbow Bright, some other Star Wars boxed things, Valor vs. Venom sets, Rancors, Tiger Zords, Dragon Zords, the G.I. Joe items here in the window boxes, Air Raiders boxed up, some good Transformer things here. I'd never seen these here. These were interesting Japanese Takara versions of Transformer stuff. Sometimes you run into things that you just never ever seen before when you're at shows like this. It's pretty cool. It's the Legacy Special Edition Scorponok. I was looking around for the Decepticon ship that turns into a robot because I don't have that Titan, and that's one of the ones I would like to have. I've got the Autobot Arc, but not the Decepticon ship. So I'd like to have that. C-3PO. Some carded and loose card backs and things. Air Raiders, yeah. More window box G.I. Joe items. Really cool. That's a great set. Ultimate Battle Pack. Kenner Alien. I think that's the reissue though. Bunch of other stuff. Wednesday, Megan, Turtles, Jurassic Park. I like seeing the Jurassic stuff. That's cool. Transformers over here. Yeah, good stuff. Scooby-Doo, Evel Knievel, Stunt Cycles, G.I. Joe, Headquarters, MOBAT, Venom vs. Valor again, or Valor vs. Venom, whatever. Space Precinct, the Space Cruiser, awesome. That's on my list. That's a cool thing to get. I'd love to have all the Space Precinct toys, and he had a lot of, I think almost the whole set here. This was cool. Yeah, here we go. Space Precinct on card. He had a lot of them here. I really considered getting one figure, but the guy was actually hoping to sell those as a bundle. So yeah, it didn't really, that was interesting to me. Alright guys, I think we're winding down here. Our last look will be a look of the show floor as I talk you out. This place was huge. Look how massive this show floor is. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything you saw in the video that you would have picked up. If there's anything I missed that I didn't speak about, point that out as well. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome out there, everybody. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya! The Super Awesome Geek Show is part of the Super Awesome Geek Show network. Please check the description below and subscribe to the channels that interest you.
I am John, Wookiee impersonator and a Ladrin warlock with the Warriors of the Stars. Along came Jason, my bearded friend. Fabulous secret ideas were revealed to me the day he came to my house and said, I want to make a podcast! Only two others share this secret.
I am Chris Visions. I like walks on the beach, sunsets, poodles.
What's up, everybody? Morphin' time.
Hi, I'm Rick Remender.
Rob, the artist.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm Christopher Sabella.
Hi, this is Ashley Eckstein, voice of Ahsoka Tano.
Robbie Amell.
What's up, guys?
Today I have special guest Mike Selinker.
You do indeed.
We're working on Black Science.
Bob McLeod, creator of the New Mutants.
I've been working for Marvel and DC Comics for the last 40 years.
Brian Herbert.
About a year ago, I've got a Twitter site. I couldn't get my own name. Somebody took my name.
And we have special guest, Gus Lopez.
Oh, hey guys, I'm thrilled to be on.
Robin Hobb is here.
Working on a trilogy called The Fitz and the Fool.
Livio Raimondelli.
Appreciate it. I'm a big Transformers fan, G1 fan myself.
Together we started talking about toys, comics, games, and movies on the Super Awesome Geek Show.